everybody. Hope everybody can see and hear me okay. Hope everybody is doing good and had a wonderful week. For those of you new, hi, I'm Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, and welcome to the Embroidery Happy Hour. And today's topic, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be talking about things that I wish I knew about embroidery. Okay, and I think this would be a really great beginners happy hour, especially for those that are really new, just got their machines and are really starting to explore the world of embroidery. I thought this would be a really great embroidery happy hour to do. So that way, get some new stuff, share some stuff with some new folks. Also, if you guys are seasoned embroiderers, please put down in the comments some of the things that you wish you knew when you started the world of embroidery. Okay, so I got 10. They could go pretty quick. Some of you guys had heard me talk about some of this stuff before, but I really want to focus on the new folks today. Because it is a lot, right? Learning how to do embroidery and really getting into this, it is really a big learning thing, right? A lot of times people don't know that, but it really is. It's a lot to learn. So let's get down to it, okay? Because as you guys know, for the first hour, I always like to hit the topic. After that, I like to chat with you guys. I do have a couple of announcements that I do want to share with you after I touch on this topic, okay? But I really just don't want to waste anybody's time. The announcement is really about Embroidery Happy Hour next week and also the fourth annual gift exchange, okay? So I am going to be hosting that again, and I'll make sure to give you guys the more 411 about that after we start covering this topic. All right, so let's talk about this, all right? So let's talk about why I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this because, as some of you guys know, if you watched me last video, I talked about one of the most challenging embroidery projects that I have so far encountered in my career, which was embroidering the dog portrait, right? It was something that it was like a love and hate relationship. It was something that, I embroidered again so many times. And it actually took me to really be able to connect with the right digitizer in order for them to give me a file that would stitch out perfectly, right? So those are kind of experiences. Those are things that you learn that sometimes no one ever tells you when you go into embroidery. But as you start to get into embroidery, you start to, become more familiar with a lot of things that you're like, wow, I didn't know about a lot of these things when I first started. So let's talk about the top 10 things, okay? The first one is the cost, okay? Now, there is a lot of cost that is involved in this type of a field, okay? A lot of times people think about the machine cost, which of course it is a big cost to get the machine. But the thing is, there are a lot of other costs that come in play with this type of business that a lot of times people don't really think about off the bat. Now, let me give you some of those. Okay. Now, the machine, of course, everyone knows that it's going to be one of the most expensive. But one of the things I want you guys to think about, especially those that are seasoned, even though we have spent a big amount of money on this machinery, right? Is there something else that you use that within time ends up exceeding the actual cost of the machine? And I'm going to tell you, yes. Okay. Sometimes if you think long term, like I do, I'm a long term thinker. I always don't like to just think about what something cost me today, but what it's going to cost me long term. When I think of it in that way, I actually think about all the money that I'm going to be spending on embroidery designs. Now, that is something that a lot of people right off the bat will come out and say, well, what are you talking about? They're so cheap. Yes, they are. You can buy embroidery designs and you can, the prices have a huge spectrum, right? You can even get some for $1. You can even get some for $20, okay? But the thing is, it's not just the designs that you're purchasing. When you're doing custom embroidery, you're going to be doing a lot of digitizing. The digitizing cost can really get up there depending on the type of designs that you need to get digitized. Those things actually start to really accumulate over time. You end up building a library, and hopefully, as you build your library, you get to use those designs that you purchase more than once, right? But sometimes what ends up happening is you'll buy a design, and one or two things are going to happen. You use it or you don't use it. If you don't use it right off the bat, you already know that's kind of like money that kind of went in the toilet in a kind of way, right? But if you do use it, then you have to think further. Is this a design that I'm going to be using repeatedly, or is this just a one-time design? Okay. I do have one-time designs, and those is usually designs that are for the small businesses that I work with. A lot of times they have their own particular logo. And of course, I'm not going to use their logo on someone else's product. So it's theirs, they own it. And I only use it whenever I'm embroidering for them. Also, sometimes you'll have designs that you just want to gift to someone or something. And next thing you know, what you're doing is you're just embroidering it that one time. Okay, just for that particular gift. Hopefully you file it away and maybe you can redo a gift similar to what you did and give it to someone else and reuse the design. But you never know. Designs are very expensive. They can go pretty cheap, but they can go pretty high too. Also keep in mind also that sometimes quality of designs matter. So sometimes even though you can get a design that's pretty cheaply made, sometimes there's a reason why it's cheaply made. Sometimes it's not a really good design that you purchase. Okay. So, which is something that I always tell people when you buy an embroidery design, always test stitch it. Okay. Never just buy it and all of a sudden just hoop your item and then embroider on it. I have purchased embroidery designs and then found out that they were not of good quality and had to go back to the actual seller to let them know. So, just make sure that you're aware of that. Okay. Stabilizers, threads, scissors, hoops, big expense. Okay. Hoops can cost so much, especially if you're using professional industry hoops. Okay. I use Mighty Hoops. Those things are expensive, okay? Worth every penny. I'm not going to lie, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. Those things are like workhorses, okay? I use them all the time. I don't even touch the embroidery hoops that came with my machine. It's all Mighty Hoops. I use their Mighty Stations, I use their hoops, everything, okay? The only time I use a plastic hoop is when I'm using my SC 1900. When it comes to these big boys that I have right here, okay, these big boys, and I have a third one right here too. All of these have they all I just use Mighty Hoops. That's it. Now they are expensive, like I said before, but they are very, very good. They work very well. And even though as high priced as they are, they're worth every penny and they are very, very durable. I mean, I have not had a Mighty Hoop die on me once. Okay, have not had to replace any of them. If anything, I had to buy more because I needed more of the same size or I needed another size. Okay, so the cost of embroidery is high. It is really, really high. A lot of times people have the misperception that it's not that expensive. You just buy a machine, a box of thread, and stabilizer. You're going to find out that there are so many different types of stabilizers out there. And then you're going to find out as you start to learn embroidery that there's reasons for all of these different types of stabilizer. Okay. I mean, trust me, they're selling. Okay. If there's a lot of stabilizers out there, there's a reason for it and people are buying it. Okay. So, and different threads, different types of threads. So there's just so much. So the cost is a big one. I put that as number one. I kind of like when I first started, I just got my SC 1900. I got a box of the 63 threads And then what I did was I bought an embroidery design, which I learned really quickly how to buy embroidery designs. That's when I learned about the different types of extensions. Okay, you got to make sure you have the different the extension that works with your machine. That's when I learned about what 5x7 meant. Okay, I couldn't just go and buy a 6x10, or I had to buy a 5x7. That's when I actually like learned the hard way, learning about the hoops, then learning about the different thread colors, all the different color changes, when you're looking at the stitch count, how important that is, because the higher the stitch count, the more longer you're going to be in front of that machine, especially if you have a single needle. So the cost, big. Okay, so the other thing, okay, talking about being a long time in front of your machine, the second thing is the time consuming it is to learn it. And I am not talking about just popping something in there, stitching it out and calling it the day. I'm talking about, if you are really serious about this, you got to learn it. That means you really have to study it. You got to really learn about the different types of threads. You have to learn about the different types of fabric, stabilizers, and how everything marries up with each other. Okay. Because in order for you to be really good at embroidery, you really have to know your stuff. You got to know when to speed up that machine, when to slow it down, when to use a certain type of needle and a certain weight thread. There is such a big learning curve. And I find that a lot of times people get very impatient. What they want to do is they just want to turn the machine on and stabilize something, hoop it, and then just go. And then what happens is, because they're so unfamiliar with how to hoop things, how to properly hoop it, how to properly stabilize it, how to properly pick the thread and change the speed of the machine and everything, the design doesn't really come out as crisp and solid, right? And that is really what embroidery is. When people want embroidery, that is something that people want. They want it to look nice and crisp, okay? They need it. They don't want it to look sloppy. You don't want a bunch of jump stitches. You don't want loose threads. You want something solid, gorgeous looking. And in order for you to achieve that, you're going to have to really spend a lot of time embroidering. Okay, you're going to do a lot of mistakes. You're going to have to try different tensions. You're going to have to try different threads. You're going to have to really learn your machine, how it works, learn about the different types of techniques of threading, of hooping, and do things wrong and find out what happens when you do this versus that. Okay, how will a stitch out look if I use a 40 weight thread versus the 60 weight? Do experiments like that, because when you start learning the what and why and wheres of embroidery, that's when you really become very, very good at what you do, because that is when you can look at something and right away you already in your mind know how you're going to be able to work that project, how you're going to be able to handle that order and stuff like that. It's not as easy as it looks. It takes a lot of time to learn it. And people get very impatient. And then next thing you know, they quit, right? Because they're like, this is not easy. Okay. So, really, like I said, I really wanted to talk really mostly to those that are new, so already we got the cost, okay, and it's very time consuming for you to learn the proper way to embroider, okay. And also there's something else, okay. This is the third thing that I wish somebody had told me. This is something that I just kind of learned as I started to get into this, okay, is that there's two types of aspects to embroidery, okay. I didn't know. All I did was I bought the machine and I'm over here having fun. But as I started getting into it, the two aspects are machine embroidery and digitizing. There are two aspects of it. Okay. Now, if someone is good, loves machine embroidery and also does digitizing, I say, hey, my hat is off to you. I mean, that is like so super awesome. Okay. I am a machinist. I do know very little about how to make adjustments to designs, how to change them up, and all that kind of stuff. I tried learning to do digitizing. I could have been that maybe I found the class boring. I don't know, but it never took to me. So I will try again to try to learn. Excuse me, try to learn it. But it just, I kind of find it a little boring for me. I don't know. I just haven't really gotten really into it. But there's two aspects to it. I really was not familiar too much with custom embroidering when I started, right? But I'm gonna be honest with you, custom embroidering, that's where the money's at. Okay. Truly, it really is. You can do embroidery and you can embroider certain things and sell them and stuff like that. But the thing is, what you're doing is you're actually like just, kind of chasing what's hot at the moment, right? But with custom embroidery, what's really great about it is that people come to you with their ideas and their designs, and you make that happen for them. But in order for you to be able to get into this field, you do have to know digitizing or know someone that knows how to digitize. I'm kind of in that second realm where I actually have digitizers that I work with on a regular basis. What I do is I reach out to them. They digitize the designs. I do the test stitches. And when I'm satisfied with the design, I show it to the customer. When the customer approves it, then I move forward. However, though, no one told me about that. And that's something that, I had to kind of learn on the fly. And then I was kind of like, oh, so now that's what digitizers are. That's what they do and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't know about that. And it's just something that, people kind of just learn as they get into this. But it's great to know both, but it's okay if you don't want to know both. Okay. I mean, there are some people out there that just love to digitize and they're just not really great. I mean, they know how to run a machine and they'll test stitch their own designs, but that's not really their thing. They just love to give me your design and I'll digitize it and send it to you and we're good to go. They don't want to deal with the machinist side of it. Okay. Because the machinist side of it is a little more labor. Okay. It's a little more labor intensive. Okay. That's where I deal with customers. I gather their requirements. I then work with the digitizer. Then after that, everything is approved and all that kind of stuff. And the customer comes with their products. Then I turn on all my machines and stuff. And then I just have to embroider and have their items ready for them to come and pick up. So, it's more labor to me, more physical labor doing the machine embroidery than, of course, the digitize. Digitizing, they just put, I'm not saying that it's simple. Okay. Don't get me wrong. When I say they just, okay. There's a skill set behind that. Okay. They have embroidery software, they import the design, and then they have to draw up the stitches and make sure that it stitches well, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So two aspects. All right. Now, number four, going on into the digitizing world, let's talk a little bit about embroidery software. When I first got into all this, I didn't know that there was going to be a need for me to purchase embroidery software. Even if you are not digitizing, that is a good investment to make. Okay. Now, there are a lot of embroidery softwares out there. Okay. They are expensive ones, there are inexpensive ones. I'm a Mac girl. Okay. All my products have always been the Apple. And I use Embrilliance. Okay. Because that was the only embroidery software that I found that actually runs with a Mac. Okay. And I use a MacBook. It doesn't work with an iPad, but it will work with your MacBook Pro or, your MacBook or your iMac. Okay. But they also have a Windows version as well. Now, there are other embroidery software out there, okay, that runs on Windows. Because if you have a Windows machine, you have a little more options regarding embroidery software. However, though, a lot of times some embroidery software can be simple to learn, some can be hard. So it really depends on your learning curve, okay? So what I recommend to do is, and I don't like to really just like I tell people when they ask me, what machine should I buy? I don't like to recommend. I kind of feel the same way with the software. Um, because the thing is, everyone's requirements and everyone's learning capability is different. Okay, so there's just so many different machines out there, and I'm not saying that none of them are bad, or and that all of them are good. All I'm saying is you really have to do your homework, and you really have to make sure that you understand what you're getting and what are the capabilities that come with that machine. And one thing I do tell people is, please, please, please do comparisons of all the machines, because not all machines are alike. Every machine is special in its own little way. And you want to make sure that the machine you pick is something that's going to really work for you. And that's the same philosophy when it comes to the embroidery software. Okay. Everyone learns different, everyone has different needs. So, what I always tell people to do is look at different types of embroidery software out there. Look for videos on YouTube on how people use the software, so that way you can get a glimpse. You can see, is it easy to use? Is it understandable to you? Okay, because what's easy to me can be difficult for you, or vice versa, right? So you want to make sure that if you're going to be investing any more funds on anything, you want something that is going to be easy for you to understand and easy for you to use. Okay, so you don't want to buy, spend hundreds of dollars on software, and then all of a sudden it's sitting on your computer and you're not doing anything with it. Okay, that can be, that's like such a waste of money. And I feel the same way about the machine. Okay, when you buy a machine, you want to use it, you don't want to look at it. Okay, it's not a paperweight, it's something that you want, so you can use, so you can produce stuff. So you want to make sure that it's something you understand, it's something that you like and you want. Okay, so embroidery software, very, very important. It is something that eventually you may not need it in the very beginning, because sometimes machines that you get will have some designs that are already on the machine, and you can use those designs, to practice. And you can also buy designs and just load them on your machine. But embroidery software does make it a little easier for you, because it gives you the capability to merge designs, make little types of modifications, to things that you want to do. So, don't, you know, I wouldn't say that you need to buy it right away, but one of the things that, as you start getting into this world of embroidery, you're going to find out that you are going to have a need to purchase some embroidery software. Okay, so, no one told me about that. I didn't know when I first got in. Like I said, I just bought three things when I started this thing: my SC 1900, which you see back here over here, and a box of threads, and one pack of tearaway stabilizer. That was the pack that I used. And then I surely learned within time that I needed to invest in cutaway stabilizer, no show mesh, sticky stabilizer, washable, soluble topping. That's when I started learning about all this other stuff. So, it's stuff that when you first are in it, right, you just buy the complete basics, but as time goes on, you end up investing a little bit more, and before you know it, you're like, this is a little more involved than I thought it was. Okay, all right. So when I talking about the involvement, okay, just like I said, when I got the first three things, let's talk a little bit about the stabilizers. Okay, there are so many different types of brands of stabilizers out there, so many different places where you can purchase your stabilizer. There are a lot of great options that you have. Okay, now I will tell you this: stabilizer is something that you will be investing in a lot, depending on the project that you are working on. Okay, there are going to be moments where I'm serious, and I know some of you guys are going to laugh out there. There are going to be moments where you're going to look at a piece of fabric or something, and you're going to say, I don't need to stabilize that. I'm not going to invest. I'm just going to stick it in the machine. Then after you embroider it, and you take it out and you probably wash it, right, for the first time and stuff like that, it ends up getting all like that. And then next thing you know, you're like, okay. Then it looks like crap. And then you're like, now I know why I should have used a stabilizer. It's kind of learn certain things the hard way. Okay. Now, did Jeanette do that? Absolutely, I did that, because you guys that have been watching me for quite some time know that I'm pretty cheap. I don't like spending money. So I mean, after I went through my first pack of tearaway stabilizer, and then I started reading about cutaway, no show mesh, and all that. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was like, who needs that? Oh my God. I was going around say, oh, these people just want to take your money. You don't need that. And then what I started doing was I was taking towels, and I was taking little cloths, and I started embroidering it without stabilizer. Now, was I selling at that time? Oh no, I wasn't selling. I was just playing around with my machine. But I quickly learned stabilizer does have a purpose, and it really is required. Okay, so you really do learn from mistakes. You learn by trial and error and trying different things, trying to get away from not using certain things, because sometimes you do look at things and you're like, do I really seriously need that? Okay, like another one was the topper. Okay, and all I kept thinking was, this is plastic. Okay, I was like, I'm buying a piece of plastic. Do I really need to buy this roll of topper? Okay. Well, I will tell you, after I embroidered my first bath towel and I saw how those stitches sunk in, I was like, okay, now I see the purpose. Okay. So, and as things, as you get better and better, you end up sometimes finding out that this is not enough. Sometimes, depending on the material that you are embroidering on, you need to add knockdown stitches. And then, in order for you to add knockdown stitches, well, guess what? You have two options. Either you can buy an embossed file, okay, where they do sell them, where it's just like a frame, or they have circles and they're already all embroidered, and then you can embroider the name on top of it, so that way the stitches don't sink in. Or you can add a module if you have in Brilliance. I don't know about the other software, but I know within Brilliance, you can buy a module called Enthusiast, and Enthusiast has the option for you to add knockdown stitches to any of your designs. So, knowing that's stuff that you learn as you start to do embroidery and you start to really jump into this world. Nobody learns this when they wake up in the morning and says, I know embroidery, know everything. No, this is stuff that you learn as you get more experience. Okay. So, stabilizer, yeah, you're going to have to invest, like it or not. It is something that you're going to have to buy. And there are so many different types of stabilizers out there. And you're going to really have to start sitting there and learning when to use what type of stabilizer, and even how much stabilizer. There have been times when I'm embroidering a logo on a shirt like this, and I, instead of using one sheet of stabilizer, I will put two sheets, and sometimes, depending on the design, maybe I'll add a third. But you learn all that as you start embroidering more and more and more and stuff like that. But stabilizer, yeah, that is one cost that unfortunately you're not going to be able to escape from. It's kind of similar like thread. You're going to need the thread. Now, threads come in different prices, okay, depending who you talk about. I mean, not talk about, but who you talk to. Everyone has their own particular favorite brand, okay? Me, I'm not really brand specific, okay? I do use a whole bunch of different brands. I actually look more for the texture of the thread and the design that I am embroidering on. Sometimes I need colors that are a little on the matted side. Sometimes I need that shiny look. Sometimes I need to put some metallic in there. So depending on what I'm embroidering, that's really going to determine what type of thread I'm going to be using. Okay. To some people, they are very good at, they love a particular brand, right? Like they're like, I'm using brand A. That's what I love. I'm only buying this brand and I'm okay with that. I mean, hey, it's what works for you. But let me tell you, it can get very, very expensive. I don't know if you guys have been part of my if you're part of my Facebook group. There is a gentleman that I love him, Bob, and he also posts videos about his experience of embroidery, right? And one of the things that he did was he invested in the cabinet of the whole collection of Madeira thread, which I loved. And I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, okay, maybe I should do the same thing too. That's a really good idea. But the thing is, I have no space, that's number 10, no, number 9. What was it? Yes, number 9. But anyway, I'm not going to jump ahead. But he loves that type of thread. There are some people that like other types of thread, like Madeira. Some people like Madeira. Some people like the candle. Some people like the Florina. Some people like the nanny threads. What are the threads I have here? I have a sim thread. I have brother threads. There's just so many types. I'm not very particular about the type of brand. I just, I'm more interested in the type of colors and the texture of the thread, because that's really what I look at when I do my embroidery. Okay, so also number 6. This is number 6 now. There are so many different types of embroidery out there. Now, what do you mean by different types? You can do dense designs, you can do sketch designs, you can do monograms. There are designs that are very dense. You have different types of font sizes that are very small, very large. They have malaire embroidery, where you have to put malaire. You have applique embroidery. There's different types of embroidery. Okay, so that is something that I eventually learned. At first I was doing fill embroidery, which was the design was nothing but embroidery. Then I learned about appliques. Then I also learned about in the hoop embroidery. Okay, there's in the hoop embroidery designs. There's just so many different things. So, and those, and they're great. All of them are great. It depends on the look that you're going for and what you actually enjoy doing. I have a girlfriend that her business is all about the bodysuits, the baby onesies and stuff. That's all she does. She has absolutely no interest in doing bags or anything else. Could she do it? Absolutely. Does she want to? No. She is perfectly fine with her little sewing machine and her big box of baby onesies. And she loves applique designs. That is a big thing that she enjoys doing. She says she loves it. She just puts her iPad out there, watches movies, and she can embroider baby onesies all day. And she does very, very well in the cutest designs. And sometimes she even works with a digitizer to create her own designs as well. And she does very, very well. So, it depends on the type of embroidery that you want to do. I do a little bit of everything. I do mostly custom embroidery. That's really my thing, because I work with a lot of people that own their own businesses and stuff like that. And a lot of times when they come to me, it's really a lot of logo work, custom work. So I do a lot of hats for them, scarves, beanies, jackets, hoodies, polo shirts, tote bags, duffel bags, book bags. Because a lot of times these business owners, what they do is they go to events where they talk about their businesses, and a lot of times they like to give these items away to customers and all that kind of stuff, or potential clients and everything. And they also like to have shirts when they go meet with clients. So That's the type of a business that I kind of like getting into, because I like it. I do like to also design stuff myself and sell that on the site as well. But to me, the most profitable is when you do the custom work. Okay, so now the seventh thing, we're on number seven. What else? What did I wish? That's gonna, let me tell you, if you know embroidery, and what time is it? Okay, I'm making good time. I'm at 8:38. Okay. This is, and I'm on number seven. Number seven is embroidery is going to make you super popular with those people around you, whether you know it or whether you like it or not. Okay. Not everybody has an embroidery machine in their home. Okay. So when someone finds out, get from a little birdie or whatever is floating around that you do embroidery, watch out. They're going to be coming after you. Okay. You are going to end up meeting people that it's like, they're going to be like, "Oh, are you Jeanette?" "Yeah." "Oh, I heard you're the one that does embroidery." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they go, "I need this and that, whatever." So you're going to meet a lot of people that are going to be chasing you for that service that you have, that skill set, especially if you are very good and you end up getting a very good reputation. You're going to really be popular out there. People are going to look for you. They really truly are. There are not a lot of places out there that do small orders, okay? And that's something that I want to touch on, okay? If you know embroidery, a lot of times, sometimes people just have a gift that they want to give, right? When you go to some of these big embroidery companies, some of these companies, what they'll do is they'll say, "Hey, our minimum order is maybe 50 or 100 or even 25." Sometimes people don't want to buy 25 baby blankets or 50 onesies and stuff like that. All they want to do is just get one because they want to gift someone something and they just want to put a name on it and stuff like that. That's when you come in, okay, as someone who embroiders at home. When they find out about you, what happens is that little plain baby items that they just grabbed from Walmart or Target and stuff like that, now that stuff becomes golden because when they give it to you, that baby bib or that baby blanket or just that plain dress shirt that they bought, they're going to give it to you, and next thing you know, because I also found out this is very, very popular, especially with men. Okay, dress shirts. A lot of times I've had a couple of customers come to me with men's dress shirts, and I embroidered their husband's initials or friends or whoever they were gifting it to, their initials on the cuff. They also sometimes will bring me a tie, okay, that they purchase, and I embroider the initials on the actual tie. So, and handkerchiefs, jackets, a bag. I mean, and these are onesies, okay? These are not things that big companies usually tackle because to them, they want big volume orders, right? But for someone that's really a small business, like really myself, I don't have a problem with somebody coming to me and saying, "Hey, I just have this, I bought this blanket off of Costco or BJ's or Sam's or whatever, and I want to know, can you put my child's name on it, or or a laundry bag for a college student or something like that." And it's, to me, it's like it's a win-win. They get to have something that they need personalized so they can give it as a gift, and at the same time, you can take on a small order. Okay. So, and sometimes these small orders don't really take up a lot of time. Well, depending too on what they want. But it's easy money, and it's something that a lot of people want. So if you are, thinking of getting into this, once that word gets out, Trust me, you're gonna be the popular person, okay? Because I'm already nicknamed as the embroidery lady in my neighborhood. So it's like now, when people find out that this is that you know how to do this, it becomes pretty big. I mean, it is something that a lot of people will chase you. So your popularity, if you were someone that was at home, just hanging out watching TV, you're gonna end up having a lot of people knocking on your door. Believe me, or they're gonna be reaching out to you through Messenger and sending you message and saying, hey, I want to know if you can do this for me and stuff, and you'd be amazed. You would be amazed. Okay, so it's gonna really it's gonna make you stand out, that's for sure. All right, so number 8, okay, which now that you are Miss Popular or Mr. Popular, and people know what you do, and they know about that, well, guess what? I don't know if you're a people person or an introvert or an extrovert, but now you're going to have to learn how to deal with customers. Okay, so that is something that is pretty big. Okay, because customer service really big. It is something that is huge. You need to make sure that you are ready to have those customer relationships. Okay, they can go either way. I mean, I have had experiences on both ends. Okay, I though am pretty direct. I'm a direct person, and I am kind of, I can be an introvert sometimes, but I am more of an extrovert. Okay, I think my sister might be more of an introvert. I'm not sure. But I know me, I don't have a problem walking into a room and going, hey everybody, what's up? That's just me. It's my personality. But you're gonna have to know how to deal with customers in all types of situations. Okay, now knowing this, that you're going to have a skill set that people are going to want and need, you're going to have to make sure that you are going to be setting boundaries. And what I mean by that is you need to know what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. Okay, so sometimes the phrase everybody wants something for nothing. Well, I'm going to tell you, I had the conversation with one of my customers who was, we talked about this. She's also has a lot of great talent in different areas, and we and her were talking about her wood crafting, right? Because she likes to uh, cut wood, right? So she will actually take a piece of wood and she will cut it hand manually, and she will mold it into something, a statue of something and stuff. And we were talking about how sometimes people really don't understand the value of something that is actually made by hand. Okay, not made by a machine or stuff like that, but made by hand and stuff. Now, machine embroidery is machine embroidery, but it's labor that is involved in it. Okay. And there is a lot of time that's involved in it as well, because it's not something that people just show up and you press a button and it goes and everything's all fast. There's a lot of knowledge that you have to know, and there's a lot of planning that you have to do in advance before you even hoop the garment, right? And what I mean by that is you got to know about the design, you got to know about the stabilizer you're going to use, how you're going to actually hoop it, how many stitches, how long that's going to be in your machine, how well you're going to price that item. There's just so much, right? So, you got to make sure that you know exactly how you're going to handle situations. Okay, so you're gonna have to really in your mind think about, how am I going to take orders from people? Okay, plan it out. Don't wait for the first customer to come to you and then you figure it out from there. That's gonna be a bad situation for you, not for the customer, but for you. And I'm telling you why. Because what's going to happen is, if you're not planning, you are not putting yourself first. You have to really have a good understanding of how long it's going to take you to do all the things before you even hit that start button. Okay. And all that costs money. And you may have to get something digitized and all that kind of stuff. That is one thing that I see a lot of times. People misprice their embroidery um, items. They really do. They focus so much on the number of stitches that they forget about the time that it takes to actually make something happen. And that is where you're supposed to be billing your time, not the number of stitches. Okay. But a lot of times people use this old stuff, say, well, it's this much per thousand stitches and stuff like that. You can if you want to. I mean, it's up to you. But the thing is, it's not everything. Okay. You're missing out on some things that you really need to be taken into consideration. You're going to have to realize also that not every order that comes your way is an order you should take. I do turn down orders, okay, for a lot of reasons, okay? This is my business, and I'm not gonna let anybody tell me how to run it. I'm gonna run it the way Jeanette wants to run it, okay? I'm gonna price my items the way I believe is fair, not just to the customer, but to myself as well. And I just don't do the argument and the back and forward. If I find that a customer is not doesn't know what they want, and I don't mean this by saying that the customer needs to come into the door and have all the knowledge. I'm not saying that at all, because as an embroiderer, I feel that I do have a responsibility to educate my customer as well. Remember, you're the professional, not them, but they have to at least have a vision and idea of what they want. Okay. So, I mean, I don't want to spend 2 to 3 hours with somebody while they're trying to figure it out. You're wasting my time. You really truly are. It's like, no, I got orders I gotta fill. I can't be messing with you like that. Okay. So a lot of times what I'll do is the first 5 minutes that I meet someone, I already know whether this is a serious order or not. And I just tell them right off the bat, I'm too busy. Maybe this isn't a good time. Maybe you really need to go someone else to get that stuff done. Don't be afraid to turn down orders. I am telling you, don't be afraid. Make sure that this is your business. You own it. You own it. Okay. Don't let other people run it for you. I'm telling you, that is something that, don't, ugh, don't do it. Okay. If don't. It's just, you know what? Reach out to me if you need somebody to help push you. Okay. Let's just say that. All right. Because I have had people that have been in situations where they got taken. And I'm gonna tell you another thing also. Okay, there's hustlers out there. There is a lot of hustlers out there. All right. People know the value of what you do. Don't let somebody shortchange you. That's all I'm saying. Okay. All right. So you got to know how to deal with people. Okay. And don't be afraid to deal with people. Okay. I mean, seriously, don't ever let anybody bully you or anything like that. Nah. It's this is your thing. Okay. If they got an attitude and they know so much, tell them you can go buy needle and thread and sew your own stuff. All right, number 9. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that. Number 9. One thing that I wish I knew that somebody told me. Okay, when I first started this, I started with, like I said, a machine, a box, and 1 pack of stabilizer, right? And then all I did was I pulled a table, and I just started to learn how to sew, and I started to do embroidery. But the next thing you know, I had to start buying more thread. I had to start buying more stabilizer. The next thing you know, I wanted to upgrade my machine, and then I needed fabric so that I could do applique. Okay, so as you can see behind me, okay, behind this machine right here, I have a little wall unit, got some fabric in there and stuff like that. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I'm in one room in my house. Okay, I do have blanks stored in my basement, and my son did come back from college, and he decided that he wants to live in the basement. And I think he's doing it more for privacy. You know how it is, when you're a young adult, you don't want to hang out with mom and dad. So he's in the basement because I feel like the basement is like more like an apartment for him, right? So I have his old room, and believe me, I got supplies in there too. So what is this message that I'm trying to tell you? Well, I'm gonna tell you, where whatever space you're at, if you're new at this, whatever space you're in, trust me, in a couple of 6 months, you're gonna run out of space. You're gonna be looking for more space. I mean, sometimes I look around and I'm like, hmm, we need a bigger house. And I got and our house is pretty big, okay? And I'm kind of like, this is bad. Okay. So I mean, it's like you're going to run out of space. This is a space sucker. I'm telling you, it just sucks up all the space that you have. And these are pretty big rooms in my house. They're not really small. I used to live in a townhome, and it's funny because the townhome was altogether, I believe it was 2,200 square feet. And I remember when I had Cardito. Cardito was just small. He was small and stuff, and it was sufficient for just me and him because I was a single mom. I raised him on my own. So, it was sufficient for us. But then when I met my husband Fred, right, he was like, no, no, we need to upgrade because we need a bigger home. Even though I didn't want to leave my townhouse, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, because that was my first house. But it was okay. But we sold that, and then next thing you know, we ended up moving here. And this home right now is 4,000 square feet. So the bedrooms here are bigger than what the townhouse was. No, so think this: if I'm in here and this room is bigger than what the room was in my townhouse, I mean, it's like, whoa. I mean, if you guys see some of the videos, it is a little crowded in here. I will say that. One of the things, though, is I am really big in being very neat and making sure that the space that I have functions. Okay. And I do that because it's very, very important, especially when I am working on big bulk orders. I don't want to be losing stuff. I don't want to be walking back and forward several times in the room. Making sure that I have a smooth process while I am embroidering orders is very, very important to me. And making sure that I can keep track of my inventory is equally as important as well. So one of the things that I do like about my situation is that I do have everything neat. I know exactly where things are. So if I have customers that come visit me, I don't have to worry about them coming up here and seeing a messy room because I am constantly keeping it very neat. And I like to work neat as well. I don't like their stuff on the floor. Very particular about that kind of stuff. And if a customer comes in and they see something and I want to show them something like the type of stabilizer that I'm going to use, I know exactly where to find it. If they're looking for a particular color or thread texture, I know exactly where to find it as well. I have samples of my work to show them. I am very, very particular about my space. Okay. Now I do plan on bleeding over to the other room. Okay. And I am still have not really fully gone there because one of the things that I want to do is I want to plan it out. I want to make sure that however I divide this space into that other room, that I make it so that the process is very is more seamless, right? I do want to have all my embroidery machines together. So I am thinking about having it divided into like one room in the house is going to be for embroidery, one for sewing. And so I can have my sewing machines and my serger over there, and then all my embroidery here. So I still have to think about a lot of stuff. I'm not in any rush or anything, but I just, because the thing is too, is when I do decide to actually make the split, I know I'm not going to be able to work on orders. And, I get very busy very quickly at times. Okay. Sometimes I get a bunch of orders at once. And then when I'm right down to finishing my orders, I end up getting a break of like 1 or 2 days. And then I've got a bunch that come back again. And my orders usually are bulk orders, and I do sometimes get those small orders as well. I never turn them down because, like I was telling you guys before, that's one of the things about doing what you do. You end up becoming very popular because you're the person that will take that order that's only one or two items. You know what I'm saying? A lot of big companies don't do that and stuff. So if they know that you would be willing to do that, that's pretty cool. So yeah, your space is going to get small real quick. So one of the things that I advise people to do is really get organized. Look at the space, really stand back, think about how you do embroidery, what your niche is or whatever, and think about how you're going to flow around that space. It's going to get tight. I mean, it ends up, and I will be honest with you. This is the year that I told myself, you are not buying anything else. You're not buying anything else. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Um, I'm going to Fredericksburg next weekend to that sewing and quilt show. And I don't know if Miss Shirley is out there watching me, but she's been tasked to keep me away from those sewing machines because I can't get another machine. Because if I get another machine, my husband's gonna kill me. So anyway, but yeah. So okay, so that's number 9. Number 10. Okay, this is the 10th one. It is fun and it's challenging. Embroidery is a lot of fun and it is challenging. It is something that I know me personally, I enjoy it. I have had my moments, especially this last order that I had where I had to embroider the dog. I had my moments where I was like gonna lose it, but I didn't want to quit. That is one thing that I always tell people, and I stick to my word. You're gonna have your moments. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna come across certain projects where you're gonna be like, that's kind of hard. It's difficult. Just do it. Just do it. Keep doing it. Get at it. You'll get better. Don't worry about it. Okay. So it is a lot of fun. It can be very, very challenging. But I will tell you, I really love the community that we have. I've met so many people that do embroidery. And one of the things that I really love is that everyone is always willing to share their knowledge with each other, their tricks on how they do things. And I think that is like so, so awesome. This is a big industry. Okay. So the way I see it is there is enough work for everybody. Okay. There truly, truly is. A lot of times, you will meet somebody that sometimes just really don't want to share and stuff. And that's okay. It is what it is, right? Everybody's different. But to me, the way I feel about it is that, this is enough for everyone. This is a big market. It's something that's if you like to embroider, you can embroider local in your area, and you'll be surprised at how many people are looking for someone that does embroidery. It's a lot of fun. It really truly is. Even if you don't want to sell or you don't want to do anything as a business, it's fun just making things. You're going to end up making the most gorgeous, beautiful gifts for your friends and your family. Trust me, you're going to love it. It's just so much. You can really do things that are so personable. Like, everybody loves their names. There was, I think it was it was 3 Christmases ago that I took a baby blanket. And what I did was I embroidered my mom and dad's name the year they got married. I put the family tree on there with everybody's name. So special. My mom loves it. She always has it in display. She shows it to everybody. The things you can make is so unique and so personal that it's awesome. Okay, it really truly is. The things you can do for your children or your grandchildren or your friends, it's a lot of fun, and it's something that I will tell you, I am so glad that I bought that SC1900 because I actually bought that machine, believe it or not, I was trying to teach myself how to sew, and I had a brother HC 1845, something like that, and I wanted a more fancier machine. And I'm gonna tell you something. I bought that machine because it had a button where it cut the thread for you. That's all. Okay. Now I did see that it said embroidery. I was curious about it, and I was like, oh, okay, let me, I'll get that one. But I'm gonna tell you something. I was little like taken off a little bit because of the price. I was really looking at like a Juki D5 or D7, DX7, something like that. But those were $1,500. So the ST1900 was $1,000. So I was like, oh, and I'm getting my little button to cut the thread. That's all I wanted, was a little button to cut the thread. And then I ended up getting that with the embroidery. And then I said, okay, let me learn about embroidery. And that's when I started to get into this world. And now I just love it. I mean, I can have these machines on all day, all night. I just love it. I love it. And I love the challenge. When people come to me for custom work, I'm like, okay, what do you need? And I love looking at it and doing different stuff. And now that I've conquered that last project with the dog, man, I mean, I will tell you, that dog, it humbled me too. It really did humble me, because sometimes you're like, I'm good, I'm really good, I know it all, whatever. And then once that design came, it was like, oh, I felt like I was getting defeated, but then when I got it, thank goodness, so much for Billy. When he reached out and he said, and him and Bob, actually, because Bob was the one that put it, I sent him the file, he looked at it, and then he said it's a bad file. It had nothing to do with how I was embroidering. It was actually a very bad file. The heat map, when he looked at the heat map, and then when Billy came out and said, let me do it for you. And I'm gonna tell you something. I took Billy's file and I put that under the heat map, and just like Bob said, I didn't see any red on that. I didn't see no red in the thing, which I was like, that's awesome. So it lesson learned. It was very challenging, it was humbling experience, but I got it. I did it, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And let me tell you, it feels really, really good when you have been faced with a challenge and you met it. You met the challenge and stuff. Customers very happy with it, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. All right, guys. So those were the 10 things that I wish somebody had told me from the very, very beginning. And if you're new to embroidery, I hope you found that very, very helpful. So let me share some announcements with you guys today, okay? Because the reason why I wanted to just jump into the topic is because I do sometimes talk a lot, okay? But I know that some people that watch me just really want the 411 from the very beginning. So that way, and then after I give you guys the information, then I like to chat with you guys. So next Friday, they're gonna have the Sewing and Quilt Expo in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I will not be able to do a Friday happy hour because I will be at the expo. I tried to do it last year when I was at the expo, but the internet really wasn't that great and stuff like that. And it kind of, in a way, took me away from the time that I got to spend with a lot of friends that I was able to meet up there. So I actually want to be in the moment with them. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to cancel Friday's embroidery happy hour, so that I can go and I can really spend some time. Now I will take my camera with me, and I'll try to video some of the things that I got going on over there, and try to, put a little video out there. I'll probably post it maybe a Sunday so you guys can see how it went. But I'm supposed to be meeting Miss Shirley. I'm hoping to meet the Crafty Puerto Rican as well, and some others. And and I had a really great time last year. What I did was we met at a particular quilt, because they have some quilts that are hanging, and I usually tell people we're going to meet at a particular quilt at a certain time. I'll probably pick around maybe 5:30 to meet by the quilt. I'll pick a quilt. I'll probably post the picture of the quilt on the Facebook channel. I mean, the Facebook group. And then from there, we'll probably go out to a restaurant to have dinner, and and just meet up and talk and everything. So I really want to be present in the moment with everyone there. So, I'm going to cancel it. Now, I was thinking of trying to do a premiere. I don't want to promise anything because, as I said, sometimes I get like so super busy. I do have a couple of big orders that are coming in, and I'm going to need to focus on that and get those completed before the quilt show comes up. So, I'm going to see what I can do. Okay. I can't promise anything, but I'll see what I can do and stuff like that. Okay. The other announcement that I have is this year I will be doing the 4th annual gift exchange for us. Okay. So as always, I will be putting the Esther gift exchange link over on Facebook. And these are some of the dates that I have going on right now. This is just so you guys hope you got your calendars ready, because this is what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to open the registration for the gift exchange on October 18th. Okay. Now, from October 18th to November 2nd, okay, November 2nd, registration will be closed. All right. So, so just know that I will be posting the link on October 18th. And then on November 2nd, registrations all closed. After November 2nd, no one else can register for the gift exchange. And then the names are going to be drawn. Okay. Then all the gifts for those people that have been that are in the gift exchange, the gifts are going to have to be mailed out by December 6th. Okay. And then I'm planning on hosting the show and tell gifts on December 20th. Okay. So I figured if everybody mails out their gift by December 6th, chances are by December 20th, everyone should have their gift in the mail. And then on the 20th of December, then I figure we can all go online and we can show each other what everybody got. So those are the announcement that I have. I did do the Christmas in July. That was the first time that I did it this year. I don't know if I'll do it again next year. We'll see. I know that a lot of people asked for it because sometimes the one during the Christmas season can get a little bit hectic for everybody, and which I totally understand because it gets really hectic for me too. I mean, I have my orders that come in during Christmas time. Then I also have local orders that come in a lot during Christmas time. You'd be amazed how many people want their stockings to be embroidered and all that kind of stuff. It gets to be a lot, So, and it's funny because sometimes what ends up happening is a lot of last minutes. Okay. We get a lot of last minutes because people are shopping. They don't really know what they want to get other people. And then next thing you know, they're like, hey, I just bought a blanket, or I just bought a bag. Can you put the initials and stuff? And it gets kind of like, whew, so, and then I want to do gifts for my own family and my own friends and stuff like that. And a lot of times they kind of get put in the back burner, and a lot of friends and family usually get their gifts like after January 1st. So I think they're kind of used to it by now, but that's usually how it goes. So, all right. So those are the announcements that I wanted to share with you guys about, next Friday. I'm going to see if I can put something out there for you guys, but if not, don't worry. You guys know, I will post the video. I'm going to have my camera with me. I will carry that with me, and video and stuff like that. And then also, I will, catch up with you guys the following Friday. And then we can probably, I'll talk to you guys about what I'm doing. Now, some of you guys may ask, what am I going to be taking any classes this year, and I plan to. One of the things I'm going to be taking 3 classes. On Friday, I'm going to be taking the Intro to in Brilliance, and then after that class, there's another class which is Intro to in Brilliance, and you're stitching it out, and it's digitizing. So I wanted to do that because, even though I do know in Brilliance pretty well, but sometimes you never know if they teach you a new trick here or there. So I figured, let me sign up for that. And then on Saturday, I decided I want to do a sewing project. So I'm going to do they call it the little big mouth bag. Okay. So I was like, that'd be a cute little bag for me to sew. So that's going to be my Saturday thing. And then after Saturday, then I'll head on home and stuff like that. Because, I'm going to miss my Mellow. You know what I mean? I don't even know where Mellow's at. Mellow. No, I don't think he's around. He might be outside with Fred. I don't know. Because I think Fred has the fire pit going on or something. I don't know. All right. So let me see. Do I have the mouse? Okay, here we go. All right, guys. So I am going to go down the chat, because you guys know I like to say hi to everybody and stuff like that, and answer any questions and stuff like that you guys may have. All right. So I see Jackie, Karen, hey Marlena, how you doing? Hey Nancy, hey Karen. I see Marsha, hey Iris, Tina, how you doing? Hey Angela and Stitches, how you doing? Hey Jenny Owens, how are you? Hey LW Masters, how you doing? Let's see. Hey Nikita Miller, how are you? Hey Debbie White. Hey Elizabeth Perez, how are you doing? Oh, I've watched your videos for a while now. Oh, I've watched your videos for a while now. You're definitely giving me some awesome advice. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm glad that you're enjoying the channel and that it's really helping out and stuff. Yeah, so enjoy it. Enjoy it. Hey Iris, how you doing? Hey Peggy, how are you? Hey Robin's Quilt Basket, how you doing? Hey Lauren, I see Lauren from Georgia. Let's see. Oh, Debbie, I bought hundreds of designs over the years. I've never had time to organize them. You taught me to stop that. You're not alone, Debbie. I have bought plenty of them. And and I'm glad that you kind of put that comment in there, because that is also for the newbies that are out there. That is something also that is a challenge as well. A lot of times people ask, how do you organize all these designs, right? Now, one of the things that I always tell people as a tip is look at other embroidery websites and look at how they organize their designs, right? And you can use that method, the way they categorize their designs and all that kind of stuff, in order to save them. The other thing, since she talks also not just about organizing them, but she talks about the hundreds of designs that she has bought over the years. One of the things I highly encourage everybody to do is make sure that wherever it is that you have your designs, that you also have them stored somewhere else. Now, my husband he's an engineer, so the house is kind of like, in a way, high tech, I guess you could say, because he has like all these backup systems and servers all over the house, and he has set it up for me to be where all my embroidery designs are backed up on our servers. So, I mean, I don't know how sophisticated some of you guys are in the IT area, but one of the things that I do want to emphasize is, because like Debbie said, you buy hundreds of designs over the years, right? And you're organizing them and everything. Last thing you want is that you're saving all your designs on your machine, and then your machine goes belly up, and then next thing you know, you just lost all of that. Because I'm going to tell you, there are so many different places where you can buy embroidery designs. A lot of times you're not going to remember all of these websites, because sometimes I will just Google for a particular design that I'm looking for, and it'll show up from a certain embroidery website, and I'll be like, that's the design I need. And then I go and I purchase it. And it's only a one-time purchase from that particular place. Chances are I'm not going to remember that URL that I purchased from, okay? That website. I'm not going to remember it. So whatever you do, I am telling you, I'm so glad, Debbie, that you mentioned about the amount of designs. Back them up, guys. Seriously, back them up, because the last thing you want is to lose all of those designs. And I'm going to tell you something. When we talk about expense, the cost that you have spent on all those designs, if you were to put all that on a spreadsheet and calculate it, it would blow your mind. You would be like, oh my God, I didn't know I was spending that much. Well, you didn't think, because see, if you really think about it, when we're buying embroidery designs, they're costing like $1 here, $2 here, 3, 4, 5, right? They're not like, it's not like $24.99 a design, right? They're not that expensive. But the thing is, when you start buying them and buying them and buying them and buying them, then you have all these designs. And then think about it, they're all in different prices, okay? Some were inexpensive, some weren't. That costs money. So if something happens to your computer and you lose all those designs, that money is gone. Okay? That money is gone. So be very conscientious of that. And if you don't have those designs backed up today, make sure that you come up with a plan this week to do that, because I don't want to, put bad karma out there, but you just never know. Okay? All right. So, just something I want to put out there. Hey, Judy, how are you? And Monique said, I just paid $50 for a design to be digitized. A person and her dog. Just returned from my cruise and have not done the test runs yet. See? It can be very, very expensive because it depends on the design. You know, just like you spend a lot of time in front of your machine, you know, running those machines and doing the embroidery, digitizers spend a quite good amount of time in front of their laptops or their computers and stuff like that, planning it out and stitching it out. And it's a skill. It is a skill. Okay. There's something that you gotta really learn and practice. So, digitizing can be very, very expensive. Okay, depending on what it is that you want digitized. And I make sure that customers are aware of that, because I always tell them, I go, you'd be surprised. I've had customers come to me with artwork, and then they just say, oh, well, here you go. Here's the file. And I'm like, no. They don't even know what digitizing is. I didn't know what digitizing is when I first started. I didn't know. It's something that you learn, right? So that's what I mean when you have to get ready for having customer relationships, because you're going to have that communication with the customer, because sometimes they think that they have a PNG or some picture, and you can take the picture and stick it in the machine and it's going to embroider fine. No, it doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. If you really want a good, clear embroidery, you got to have it professionally digitized. You really do. And it can get expensive. It really, truly can. Let's see. Let's keep going down. Hey, Jenny Bauer, how are you? Yes, organization is key. You got to be organized. And this is the other thing too. The last thing you want is when you're not organized, you know what you end up doing? You rebuy things. You do. There have been times, and I learned that the hard way. I learned. That's why I'm such a stickler about being organized in this room. Okay? Because there is a reason for it. Yeah, I'll show you. Okay? Look what I have. 2. You know why I have 2 of these? Same brand. Same. You know why I have 2? Because I put this somewhere where I shouldn't have put it. Okay, it wasn't the same. And then I couldn't find it. And then I was like, nah, I got to buy another one. So now I have two. Unnecessary, but it's okay. I have two now. Okay, so one breaks, which I doubt it'll break, but now I have two. So, you end up rebuying stuff because you just not organized. You forget that you have it and stuff like that. I keep moving around this chair. So, it's just you got to be organized. So important. So important. And it's the same thing with embroidery designs. If you're organized with your embroidery designs, you can find them very easily. Because they're under the certain category. Because if not, then what ends up happening is you could end up buying embroidery designs and you're like, oh, I had one. I could have used that. Why did I buy another one? You know what I'm saying? It may not have been the same exact one, but the thing is, why are you spending money if you don't have to? It can, get water. Whew, thirsty. Okay. All righty. Okay. Let's see. Let me go down here. I see. Let's see. Angela. Absolutely love the mighty hoops. They're worth the money. They save time and effort. And that is true. Yes. And that's another thing. I'm glad you put that down. They save time and effort. The old hoops are plastic, and sometimes they can be very, very difficult for you to hoop an item. The thing about the mighty hoops is that they're magnetic, and I'll probably do a video to show the difference. And because of they're magnetic, they're much better at hooping. They hold the fabric tighter, and you can hoop things a whole lot faster, like she said. So it saves time. And one of the things that I really love about that time saving thing is that because it saves time, I can get orders done a lot quicker. Okay. Instead of trying to figure out if I hooped it right and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I love the mighty hoops. I think they are honestly, I think they are worth the money. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, when I first started to buy them, I was kind of like, oh wow, this is a lot much because it is pricey. I mean, you're talking about like $150 a pop. You know what I'm saying? They are pricey, okay? But I'm telling you that I love use them every day, use them for every project. The only time I use a plastic hoop is when I am using the ST1900, and I have magnetic hoops for that too, because if I have to get a big bath towel and put it under the single needle machine, I use the mighty hoop. I don't use a regular hoop because I like to float my items and stuff. Okay, so let's see. Hey Allison, how you doing? Let's see. Hey Computer Depot, how are you? The hoop size versus the hoop feel took a few moments to get the hang of. Yes, Debbie, they are. Okay, yes. And that is there is something called yes. I'm glad you pointed that out. A lot of times people think, and that is a misperception about the hoops. Okay, let me grab a little one here so that we can talk about this a little bit. Like this is a 4x4 hoop, okay, for my ST1900. A lot of times when people are designing an embroidery design, they have this assumption that they can design it all the way up to the edge of the hoop. That's not true. Okay, you have to have some kind of spacing. Okay, because what happens is you don't want the needle to hit the sides of this hoop, because if you look at it, see how this has the little flap right here, see this right here, this little flap, okay, and it has it up here too, and down here. Okay, there is always the design is going to be smaller than the hoop. You want some space. You want some space. You're never going to have a design all the way up. So yes, thank you, Debbie. There is something, it's hoop size versus hoop field. And this is the other thing too, okay? when you are uncertain about the design that you want to embroider and the hoop that you're using, I always, even with my multi-needle machines, and even when I use the cameras on my 10 needle machines and I scan it, I always do a trace, because the trace will show you where that needle's going to go. Okay. And if you see that that needle is way too close to the side, you already know that the design is way too big. Okay. So yeah. Hey Susan, how you doing? Um, let's see. Hey Thomas, how are you? Let's see. I'm trying to learn on the fly with my Design Shop 2 software to add a name to the back of a cap on the fly. I did the front and the sides, but never done a black on the back. Well, depending on the machine that you are using, you could float it. Okay, so if you have a flatbed machine, you could always take the back of a hat and use sticky stabilizer, and you can just float it and stuff. Hats are, caps are pretty tricky. Caps can be pretty tricky. But I'm gonna tell you something, caps are very, very profitable too. Because one of the things about that is, caps can be, especially if you buy them wholesale, they can be pretty inexpensive. And once you embroider them, you make more than enough on that hat. I'm telling you. Hats are very, very, very profitable. Love it. Hoop, there it is. Thomas, you're funny. Oh my goodness. Hey McFake, how are you? Hey Sarah, how you doing? Hey Cindy, how are you? Um, let's see. I'm going down the chat. Um, Marlene, I'm not a fan of doing digitizers. I love to do embroidery. And I feel the same way too. I am more of a machinist than a digitizer. But I am going to try to give it another try. But it really isn't my forte. I will tell you, it is not my thing at all either. Um, you know, and Carol says, I've done a little digitizing and I really enjoy it. I wish I had more time to learn it at my leisure. And Carol, and I think that could be it with me. Maybe that could be a reason why digitizing hasn't really been my forte right now, is the time. My time is pretty tight. Okay. I still work full time, and my day job is very demanding. So I don't have much flexibility at all, right? And then after I get off work is when I come here, and then what I have to do is I have to hit those orders, because I have deadlines that I have to meet, because I do have an appointment book and I keep a schedule for all my customers as to when I'm going to work on their orders and when I'm going to have it finished. So it's always been very important to me to make sure that I meet those deadlines. So because my time is very limited, actually my downtime is actually when I spend time with you guys, honestly, these Fridays, okay? Because Saturday I'm embroidering, Sunday I'm embroidering, and then Monday I am on a bus heading to the office. And Monday all the way till Friday, 8 o'clock is when I get to hang out with you guys. This is actually really enjoyable for me. And it's kind of funny because sometimes I feel like these embroidery happy hours are kind of, sometimes I feel like they're more for me than they are for you guys, because I feel like it's my time to just enjoy doing what I do, right? And it's my downtime from my day job. So it's like I get to shut them off and focus on just hanging out with other folks that really like doing things that I like to do as well. And then get me back into the groove where, okay, now I have to get my orders done and stuff like that. So the time is not there. And digitizing, it's a learning curve, right? It's a big learning curve for digitizing. You really have to have that time to learn, and I just don't have it right now. So hopefully And now I can officially say, guys, that I have less than 2 years to retire. Less than, because my retirement date is actually September 15th, 2026. Okay. We're past September 15th. So I have less than 2 years now. Before I used to say I have 2 years. Now I can say less than. So hopefully when I get there, okay, and I am retired, I will have that extra time to put it, and maybe I can learn digitizing. One of the things that I really want to do when I retire is there was a subscriber that reached out to me and told me that what they did was they actually went and traveled to Texas, and they went to a sewing machine school. And at the sewing machine school, one of the things that they did was they actually learned how to repair sewing machines and embroidery machines, like all types, right? So they learned from scratch how to disassemble the machine and reassemble it. So you learn about the whole thing, about how the parts work and everything. So when she told me about that and I looked it up, I was like, oh my God. So that is really the first thing I want to do after I retire. I'm going to shut down the shop. I'm going to get on a plane. I'm going to go to Texas, and I'm going to that sewing machine school so that I can learn the ins and outs of how to repair the machines. Because the thing that I loved about what she told me was, um, is that I have several heads of machines. Okay, I have three heads, multi needles, and I do a lot of bulk orders, and there are times when you can have a hiccup with a machine. Now, thankfully, I have been, maintaining my machines and all that kind of stuff. They've been working really well. There have been moments though when I had to change the needle threader or something like that on one of the machines. But you need to keep these machines running, especially when you're working on bulk orders, right? Because once the machine is down, that means that I have to spend more time in completing a certain order, because now that machine that would have been embroidering a hat isn't doing anything. It's just sitting there, right? So I want to be able to have the ability to fix my own machines on the fly if one of them ever goes down. I think that is of great value. Is something that to me is more important, if anything, than learning how to digitize. Because if these machines go down, then orders can't get done. And I have to get them done, especially on a timely basis, especially during the holidays and mostly Mother's Day. Those are usually the two times of the years that I'm like mega busy, because everyone wants something from mom, and Christmas is all over the place, locally and here. The summer is pretty busy for me as well too, because golf season, right? I mean, I live in a golf community, so a lot of golfers want their golf bags embroidered, they want their golf towels embroidered, they want their hats embroidered, they want their polo shirts embroidered. So there's a lot of embroidery that I do for the golfing community. So, it gets kind of really busy. So for me to have a machine down, that's a problem. So when that subscriber told me about that, I was like, I'm definitely going to definitely do that. So that is one of my bucket lists that I want to do as soon as I retire. Is I'm going to be signing up. I'm going to be calling that school up and asking them about when they're going to be having classes so that I can sign up. And I'm going to either, maybe I'll drive to Texas, I'm not sure, or I'll fly. I don't know, depending. But I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of that. That's for sure. And Iris says, I don't want to digitize. It's difficult enough to get the right information and font for the project to make. It can be hard. It can be a lot, and stuff. So, hey, Miss Joyce, how are you? And how are you, Miss Gorgeous? This is my first time catching you live. I'm so excited. Oh, welcome. Glad you made it. Glad you made it. Hey, Evelyn. Oh, yes. Please, guys, if you like the information that I shared with you guys tonight, please give me the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, or you've been watching me and you just haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay. If anything, if you hit subscribe, you'll get the notifications, and you click that little bell. You'll get the notifications whenever I upload a new video, or when I'm going to go live again. So that way you guys can join in on the chat. Okay. So, yes. So please give me the thumbs up, because it does help the channel. It really, really does. And I want to keep to creating the content for you guys, because I really feel that this channel has helped so many people. And I want to keep doing that. I really do. Especially if someone is new out there and wants to join into this adventure. Hey, you can do it. You can do it. I love encouraging people to just go after their dreams and just make things happen and stuff. Oh, Miss Joy, how you doing? Love those thumbs up. um, let's see. Hey, Kim, how are you? How you doing, hun? How are you? Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to remake my sweatshirt for my new granddaughter. Ah, I don't have any grandkids. Slow. Um, let's see, going down, looking. Oh my goodness, Carol, that's cute. Embroidery is a wonderful rabbit hole. It can be. It sure is. Hey, Miss Holland, how are you? How you doing? Oh, and let me see. I purchased about $2,000 worth of stuff before I even got an embroidery machine. I believe it. I am telling you, it is really amazing how people have no idea how costly embroidery can be. And I'm gonna tell you something, it is a luxury item. It is a luxury item. And the reason why I say that is because when you really think about it, embroidery is all about thread, right? And embroidery lasts as long as your garment. Okay. So, it's a luxury item, which is why, it's expensive. It's expensive for you to do. And, and people know this. People are very, very well aware of it and stuff. Hey, Beth, been digitizing this week. I made a Christmas bear, turned out cute. Today I finished the USB lacrosse logos for me to make myself items for lacrosse section. Oh, that's awesome. See, I haven't gotten into that venture. When I finish the sewing school, I know I'll have more time. Let's see. Hey, Sarah, how are you? I think I am too old with digitizing. Maybe I could be too old too, Sarah. Tried several programs. My 13-year-old daughter understood them immediately. Honestly, with embroidery, it's like, when I started thinking of learning about digitizing, they talk about the nodes and all that kind of stuff and everything. And I just have to grasp it, and I'm kind of slow with that kind of stuff too. So it's like, it's going to take me a minute to learn myself. So Miss Sarah, I'm with you on that. Miss Jeanette, these are questions I needed to be answered. Oh, I'm glad this was helpful. I saw your video of the finished dog design on the shirts. Oh, yep. And I finally finished it. Finally. Hey, embroidery homeschool mom, how you doing? Oh, that's her favorite thread. She likes, the Hemmingsworth thread brand. And I've heard of that one brand too, and stuff. That I also heard is very good. There's just so many different brands out there. And my whole thing is just, it depends on, for me, it depends on the design that you're trying to embroider and the look you're going for. And sometimes also some people like a particular brand of thread because they just like the way the machine behaves with that thread as well. So there's just so many different out there. Hey Pearl, how are you? How you doing? Lost track of time. It was after 8, but you're here now. Hey Bob, how you doing? I paid $300 between taxes and shipping, but hey, tax deduction. Well, you know what, Bob? One thing also that I wanted to mention is if you have your business license, you can actually go to allstitch.com or any of these places where you buy your stuff, and you can submit your tax exemption form. Okay, because as a business, if you're buying stuff for your business, you don't have to pay taxes on it and stuff like that. So I think it's the VA, because I believe you're in Virginia also. I think it's the VA something. I'll tell you right now. Hold on. I got it right here. I have all my business files right here. So I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's the form ST10, Commonwealth of Virginia Sales and Use Tax Certificate Exemption Form. Look up form ST10. And then what you do is you send that over to Allstitch, and they will set up your account so that way whenever you purchase items from them, because I know you like the Madeira thread, and I know there's certain things that you get from them, you won't pay the taxes. Now you'll have to pay the shipping, but you won't have to pay the taxes because I know you got your business license. So I don't know if you had did that. So I wanted to tell you that. So I'm glad you put that comment in there so I could let you know and stuff. So, but reach out to me if you don't know what I'm talking about, and I'll help you. Let's see. Yep, I like Bob's channel too, because he talks about the cartoons and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I find it very entertaining too. And if you guys don't know, Bob has his own YouTube channel. Subscribe. This is his channel right here. Bob anime reviews and stuff. I like the channel. Let's see. I'm looking down. Hey Emma, how you doing? Oh, there you go, Bob. Bob says every digitizer has their strengths and weaknesses and their unique styles. I suggest developing yours before going straight into custom. Also, customer experience is a must. It really is. It is. It really is. Hey Sarah, my neighbor that I know do embroidery expects me to do it for free as I'm your neighbor. Okay. No. Sarah, that doesn't work for me. Nothing's for free. Nothing is for free. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even do it. Honestly, I just don't. And this is what I mean by okay. And Sarah, please don't take this personally. I don't mean to attack on you. I want to use this as a learning experience for everybody. Okay. This is what I mean about when I talk about you got to be very careful because, remember when the beginning when I said everybody wants something for nothing? Well, I'm not joking about that, and sometimes what happens, it can really kind of mess up relationships as well. Okay. Because this is how I see it. It's kind of like a respect thing for me, right? If I want to give a gift to you, I'll do it on my own. Okay. You don't tell me to give you a gift. That's just how I see it. Okay. The gift has to come from my heart to you. And at the same time, for you to expect something like that, it's like we're gonna start feeling kind of funny. It's gonna be a problem. Okay. Me and you gonna have to talk. Okay. Because I'll be like, it ain't gonna work like that. Because this is the bottom line. Your time is precious. And embroidery is not cheap because you had to pay for that machine. You had to pay for the stabilizer. You had to pay for the thread. And you got to plan for it and all that kind of stuff and everything. So to me, it's like if someone wants me to embroider, they know off the bat. Well, first of all, they know this is a business for me. Okay. And even my closest friends, they don't even ask for discounts. Okay. I have a very good friend, Patty, which she knows that I would do anything for her. But one of the things that I love about Patty is when she wants something, she just goes straight to my Etsy shop and she orders it like a regular customer. She doesn't come to me saying, I want a discount, this, that, whatever. Or if she sees something on the website, she'll say, hey, I want something like this, but can you do it like, I need a custom order. And then she says, write up the listing and send me the link. Okay. And I do the embroidery for her husband. And they, it's like they never has anybody, well, it could be too that maybe because they know I'm mouthy, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my personality, because people know I am an extrovert. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask Nancy next time I talk to her. But the thing is, people kind of know that that's just not going to work for me. Okay. And this is the thing too. I'm very it's like friends kind of fall in I have a small group of friends, okay, that I consider good friends, because sometimes you got to be very careful, because you got to make sure that people respect you. And for me, I look at that as being disrespectful. It bothers me. It just does. It bothers me, because it's like, what, and then think about it. Would they do that for you? You know, it's like, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. It really does. So I'm gonna be honest. You know how you could get out of it? You let her know I don't have time. That's all. Say I'm too busy. I don't have time. And then you're out of it. There you go. That's your excuse. Because I know some people don't like confrontation, and I got that. Me, people that work with me kind of know. I'll be like, bring it on. I can go head to head at anybody, okay? But I know that some people are not. And some people prefer to avoid it. So in that situation, what I would do, Sarah, is I would just tell them, oh, you know what? I would love to help you out, but I'm just really too busy right now. I can't do that. And then there you go. You're just too busy, and you don't have to worry about it. That's what I would do. But if you don't want the confrontation. But I'm kind of different, because I would be like, for free? Are you serious? You must be off your rocker. That's something that I would say. Which, if you think about it, if you ask my sister, she'll probably say that's why Jeanette doesn't have a lot of friends, because I am the one that if you go to the mall and you put on a dress and it don't look good, people may come out and say, oh, but I'm just gonna say, all right, you look a hot mess. You look like a mess. It don't look right. Look at yourself. Real, like, be real. You know what I'm saying? No, it doesn't look right. I mean, if you want to look like that, okay. But you know what? To me, it don't look right. Yes, my opinion. You're not the one that you want to. You don't want me to hang out with you shopping if you don't want me to be honest. That's just me. But anyway, but I'm telling you, there's so many people out there that want something for nothing. And the way I look at it, no love lost. Just don't let people take advantage of you. Seriously. Seriously. Don't, because then you don't feel good at the end of the day. Do you know what I'm saying? Then you feel bad. And why should you feel bad? You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. They feel great, and of course they're going to be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But thank you didn't pay for the thread. Thank you didn't pay for the stabilizer. Didn't pay for your time. You know what I'm saying? So, and you don't want to feel bad. Okay. That's why I tell people, when it comes to embroidery pricing, okay, stand your ground. You got to stand your ground. Okay. This is my price. I do, and I explain why I price the way I do. My focus is not to make you go broke. That's not what this is about. Hey, Mello, how you doing? Okay, Mello saw my attitude was coming out. Okay, boo boo, thank you. It's not about making the customer go broke. Okay, it's about being fair. Okay, that's what I always say. I make sure that the price is fair to the customer and that it's also fair to me. That it's a win-win situation for everybody involved in the business transaction. Okay, I will. No, I'm not going to allow anyone to make me feel bad. It's just not going to happen. I'm very unapologetically not like that. I never was, never will be. I'm okay. I mean, I'm even like that at work, and people know it. It's like it's just don't do it. Just don't, because then you feel taken advantage of. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling, and you don't want that. Just make the excuse and say, I don't have time. I would love to help you out. I don't have time. And then that's it. Walk away. That's it. Then you don't, you know what I'm saying? Unless you really want to do it for that person, because it could be a nice neighbor, it could be a very nice person that helped you out a lot and stuff like that, and you want to return the favor to say thank you. In that situation, that I say that's different, because you want to give them something from your heart. But to let somebody take advantage of you, no, I don't. Nope, don't do it. A lot of people want a single custom item, and I don't want to sell a single patch for 300. So I don't take the work unless they buy in bulk. Or I also sell the design on my store. See, and yeah, and a lot of times, and I agree with Bob. See, that's why sometimes a lot of these embroidery businesses, they have that minimal, right? They have like a minimal, you have to buy so many in order for them to even turn on their machines. But to me, it depends, like on what they want. Okay, because sometimes I'll have a customer that comes with a blanket, and I'm not doing a patch or anything, because the patches that Bob does are very, very detailed, and they take a long time to stitch, and they're not simple patches. Okay, so but the thing is, when people come to me and they say, hey, I just want an initial on a hat or something like that, it's a simple stitch, it's pretty quick. It's so I don't mind doing it, you know what I'm saying, because it doesn't, it's okay with me, I need more fan and stuff. There you go. Okay, really like the ceiling fan that I put in there. Okay, so hey, JC Production, how you doing? To those overwhelmed with machine embroidery and considering selling their $15,000-$20,000 machines, don't give up. The learning curve is steep, but with patience and practice, you'll master it. And you know what? Very, very, very true. Very, very, very true. And I'm glad you put that there to JC Productions, because especially if you have invested so much on this, and these machines are not cheap. They are not cheap at all. But I will say you have to keep at it. Okay, and that's the other thing, especially if you want to do this as a business. If you're doing it as a hobby, then it's different, because you're doing it for you, right? And you're probably doing it for family and friends and all that kind of stuff. But if you're doing this for a business, I'm going to tell you that I don't care what business you're in, whether you are doing sublimation, or you're doing embroidery, or you're doing real estate, or you're a car salesman, or insurance agency agent, you're going to work hard. Okay, success doesn't come and just land on your feet. You're going to have to really work hard. You're going to be working day and night. You're going to breathe, eat, sleep, everything your business, everything. That's what you're going to be doing, thinking about your business 24/7. So you got to have that ambition, and you are going to have your moments, like he said, where you're going to, you can't give up. You just can't. You have to keep going. You're going to have your moments. Okay. Just like you guys saw, it took me 3 months to get that patch correct. Okay, about that dog. Even though I was throwing my hands up in the air, and you guys saw, I even posted it on Facebook group going, look at all of these stitch outs, and I can't get it. Okay, But I kept at it, and success finally came my way. So you have to keep going. You cannot give up. You cannot give up. Okay. Um, Cynthia. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Appreciate it. And JC Production, you are absolutely right, Janet. And thank you so much for telling me that, especially when I work for a nonprofit sector. Thank you so much. You're welcome, JC. Hey, Kim. Oh, Carol, I hate saying no. Thanks for the encouragement. You have to, Carol. You have to say no, okay? You can't say yes to everything in life. You really can't, okay? Honestly. There are times when I've even had people with rush orders, and I have to say no. Okay, you got to say no. All right, because it's about you. It's about you. You. I want to help people. Absolutely, I want to help people. Okay, and would I love to take every order and make all of them? Absolutely, I would. But at the end of the day, I do have to sometimes sit back and think of what's best for me and what's best for my business. This is another thing also, okay, that I want you guys to think about. All right. When I work full time, and when I come here, I'm already kind of like tired, okay, because my day job is pretty demanding. So when I come here, I have to reset. Okay. I have to reset myself mentally and physically, and then start getting to work. Um, I have to know when I can accept more work and when I can't accept more work. And I want, when I come in this room, even though it's a lot of work and it is hard work, this work to me is enjoyable. I am going to only take orders that I want to take, okay? That I know I can accomplish and I can do well. If I end up not saying no and just take everything that comes through this door, what's going to happen is I'm going to get very overloaded. And if I get very overloaded, I'm going to get physically and mentally tired. When you're physically and mentally tired, when you take on orders, I'm not going to be thinking clearly. I'm not going to be looking at the order saying, okay, let me study this design. Let me see what kind of thread I need, what kind of stabilizer I need. And I'm gonna be working exhausted. And you know what's gonna happen? The quality of my embroidery is going to show. It's not going to come out as good as it normally does. And that's important, because one of the things that I always tell people is, when you are providing a service, and embroidery is a service, and you are providing that output, you need to make sure that that embroidery is top notch when it leaves that door, because that embroidery speaks volumes about you. It's representing you and your business. And if you are tired and your tension is not right, and you're not watching it, and you're not, paying attention, and you're not using the correct speed on your machine, you're not using the correct, you're making all these mistakes, and the embroidery looks sloppy, and that's what goes out that door, that's going to cost you big. It's going to cost you big, because what's going to happen is you're going to have an unhappy customer, and that unhappy customer is going to talk. And even though they still might be wearing that embroidery on their shirt, right? When they're walking around and stuff, and people go, oh, who did that? Guess what? They're going to be talking about you. And when they talk about you, it's not going to be in a positive way. So the thing is, you got to make sure that you are looking out for yourself and your business. Always have to come first. Be very unapologetic about that, okay? Be very unapologetic. Seriously. Don't allow other people to tell you how you should run your business. This is yours. You created it. Your name on it. You're the one that gets up every morning and works till the sun goes down and all that kind of stuff. It's you. So don't do that, okay? So learn to say no. It's healthy. It is very, very healthy. You have to put yourself first. Okay? You're so true on the space. Oh, thank you. Marcia said, I've taken over both my kids' room. My loft and my 10 needle is in my kitchen because I can't get it up the stairs. I live by myself. Oh, Marcia. Okay, well, this is something that I did. You want to try that. My husband is he's I don't want to say he's old. He's gonna turn 62 in January, right? So, but the thing is, he has a bad back, right, and everything. And one of the things is when I first got the first two machines, between him and my son, they moved the machine upstairs. However, it was just him and me, and the machines are kind of heavy. And it was downstairs when I first bought the second, and I'm talking about the second 10 needle machine. One of the things that I did, Marsha, and you may want to consider this, is I called a moving company and I told them that I had an embroidery machine that I had downstairs that I needed it to bring upstairs. And I told them that it weighed about 150 pounds. Because the Brother 10 needle machine isn't that heavy. I was able to bring up the box of the stands and stuff like that. But I couldn't carry the machine. And even though my husband was trying to do it, I didn't want him to touch it because he already has a bad back. And, I actually like my husband. I really love that man. So, if I didn't like him, then I would be like, yeah, go ahead, take it upstairs. You know what I'm saying? But I actually enjoy being married to Fred. I actually love him a lot. So I don't want anything to happen to him. And he himself is going to be retiring in 4 months. And I want him to live a very long time. And I want him to enjoy his retirement. So, even though he was like trying to bring it up himself, I told him, nope, leave it there. It's going to be fine. And I called a moving company, and I told them what I had was an embroidery machine. I just needed it to be moved upstairs. And what they did, and I think if I remember correctly, I think I paid, it may have been like $300, something like that. Okay. So it's just an idea. Because I know you mentioned that, it's in your kitchen, you can't get it upstairs. You may want to do that. Go and look locally for some local movers. Okay. And they can take the machine up for you. And that's what I did for my last machine. Because I have all three machines upstairs. And the other thing is because I can't, I do not want Fred lifting any machine up and down these stairs. I hire someone to actually come to the house and run the maintenance on my machines here. Because even though some repair shops, they want you to take the machines to them, I'm like, no, these are big machines, they're heavy. My husband is up there, okay, and no, I don't want to risk. I'm not going to risk two things. For more importantly, that the machine drops. And to me, that's just a machine, I don't care. But if a machine breaks or whatever, then the hell with it. We'll buy another one, whatever. But I don't want him to get hurt because there's only one of him. Okay. And it took me a very long time to find Fred. You know how they always say you kiss a lot of frogs before you meet your prince. Okay. Well, that's my prince right there. And I don't want nothing to happen to him. So, it's like, so when he was like, oh, I'm going to try, I was like, no, you're not. I was like, I'll save. I don't care how many, what I got to do to get that money, but I'll find the money to get movers to come and move that machine upstairs. So it's just an idea, Marcia. Sometimes they're not that expensive because it's just one thing that you just want moved from downstairs to upstairs and stuff. So, just in case you want to get out of your kitchen, let's see. Monique says she moved from a 1,200 to 1,800 square feet so she could have the guest room, hubby's office, and a craft room for me. Yeah, I'm telling you, space is at premium. All blanks. plastic containers. Yep. Now at tumbler making, rhinestone designs, and with embroidery and sewing. It's a lot. It really is. Same here. Business comes in waves. It does. And you know what's funny is when it comes in waves, sometimes you sit down and you think, "Whoo, I have a breather." And then you know, it's like I just want to enjoy a glass of wine. Next thing you know, the phone rings or somebody knocks on the door, and it's like, here we go again. Back in business. How about Rakoma's Berman to Gina? Oh, I don't know. Those are industrial machines. Brothers are more of home-based machines, even though they're multi-new. At least that's how the industry looks at it. I mean, to me, all the machines are good. I like the brother because I like the capabilities that the brothers have. To me, it's just as good. It's just as good. Yep, I looked at that machine too. Very expensive. But I don't really want to go that route. It's like I say, I mean, to me, in the type of embroidery machine, that to me is a personal choice for people. I always believe you should, I don't like to steer anybody to any type of brand. Okay, that's just me. I'm not affiliated with any type of embroidery machine. And even though I have an affiliated liquid and brilliance, I don't push anything. I just say this is what I use. There are a lot of great different embroidery softwares out there, just like there is a lot of great embroidery machines. You have to, I always tell people, just research, look at the different capabilities of the machine, and get the machine that you feel is right for you and what you want to do. Okay. I mean, the brother machines work great. The other machines, I hear great things about them too. It's really about what you want. Okay, what you feel comfortable working with. Okay. Let's see. When I started, I really had no idea how expensive crafting is. What a lesson. I said, it is expensive. It is. And I remember a time when people used to always invest a lot of money into, and they still do, into the man cave. So I think what this stuff ended up happening, the cricket coming out and the silhouettes and then the rhinestones and the sublimation and the embroidery, this became the she caves, so it's yeah. So hey, Debra. Yes, we are going to be meeting this week. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I know nothing about sewing. Got a machine in the box. Miss Joy, you better take that machine out and have fun with it. There you go. See, I'm not the only one. Take that machine out of the box and play with it. Have fun. I agree with Robin. I agree with Ram. I can see you doing the victory dance. I was doing the victories, especially after I got that dog finally done. Hey, baby giant services, how you doing? Um, if you like, if the PR items, custom embroidery is a great opportunity to service your Pacific. Yep, community, because you know what they like, and they're probably very few, if anyone's yep, that's true, which is it's very true. Like I do a lot of the towels in Spanish and stuff like that. There's just so many things you can do in embroidery. There's just so much. Hey, Gail, how are you? Hey, Queen Mama, how you doing? Miss Joyce loves the Embrilliance program. Yeah, there is so many different kinds of embroidery software out there. You just really have to know. Have fun at the quilt show. Love the shirt you made. I'm excited for the Christmas gift exchange. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Get water here. Okay. Miss Joyce. Wherever it is that you have your designs, you do in Brilliance, I need help understanding. I do purchase a lot of my designs, Miss Joy, and I do sometimes make modifications to them. I do use in Brilliant software also. I do. I love that Miss Shirley's helping you your resistance. She is. She's got a job to do this year. Yes, Cal. She is supposed to make sure that that I don't spend any money on these on another sewing machine. That's the thing. Because every year you walk in there and they have all these machines and they have all these chairs up against them. And of course, they got the pieces of fabric, and you know what it is, right? Because they want you to sit there and they want you to play with the machine. So when you play with the machine, of course, the machine is already nicely oiled up and everything. And they're like, oh, you want to play with the machine? And you're like, ah. Then you want it. You want it so bad. And you know, one of the things that I saw about the Luminaire machine, it's got a laser. So that, you know how I always say that I have a problem sewing straight? I could sew straight with a laser. But then my sister came out and said, all you got to do is take a ruler and just draw the line and then just sew on the line. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I could do that too. But I don't know. But I really like the Luminaire because that's like the Cadillac of all sewing and embroidery machines. And then I was like, oh, I need a bigger hoop. So that way I can do a flatbed and I could do in the hoop projects. But then my husband points out and said, well, those multi-unit machines, don't they have big hoops? And I'm like, yeah, they do. They do. So I don't know. I really don't need another machine, honestly. But I don't know. I think I'm a machine addict or something. I don't know. Oh no, I bought lots of designs and then my computer crashed and I couldn't get my designs off. Oh, Marsha. I know that had to be a really terrible feelings. How do we back up the designs that we purchased? There are lots of different ways, Mistress. You can save them on a USB flash drive. You can also buy a backup external hard drive and you can put them on there. That's one thing that you can do. I know my husband, he set up a server in the house, like I said before, and that's where I back it up. So there's lots of different ways you can get it. Oh, there you go. Get an external hard drive and download it instead of your computer. There you go. Yep, and here's another one. She puts it on an external hard drive. When digitizing and making the design is only half the work, the other half is ordering your shapes, adjusting the start and stop points till the shapes are smooth. Yep, Bob's talking digitizing now. He's talking digitizing. And you can save to your cloud or flash drives. Yeah, but you know the cloud, that costs money. That's I think a subscription for that. So, but we have a server in-house. You know, my husband built a network in the house. So that way we don't have to do like cloud and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. How do you go by cutting out patches when you have 300 of them once they are embroidered? Oh, she just cut them out once at a time. There you go. It's like applique. You rip them out. And I did have a video on that, on doing the patches on the clear plastic and stuff. Very easy to rip out. Let's see. I'm gonna go down. You know, you're not the only one. I wish Mighty Hoops made them for my single needle machine. Yeah, I mean, they have magnetic hoops, Beth, but they're not from Mighty Hoops and stuff. And I wonder if they ever you never know. They could be working on designs for the single needles too, and stuff. So you never know. I got taken. Oh no, I never bought an embroidery machine from them. Um, ugh, I would never. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, Beverly, I use them though. I do order from Alibaba, but what I do is I order blanks. I never order machinery from them and stuff. That sucks. I would see if I would be able to fight the charge or something. Um, that's terrible. Sad. Let's see. Something is landed in the garbage and you rebuy it, only to find it after you've just replaced the item. Sewing is the art. Look for it just 10 seconds ago. He asked half off. Did not want PayPal, so I sent Zelle. Sent the 100, and he's supposed to send tracking. That was fake. You gotta be careful, guys. Angela says, I'm gonna love retirement. I know I do enjoy it. Oh, I know I'm gonna enjoy it. I know it. I already tell people at work the day then that comes, September 15, 2026. I said, you guys will never hear from me again. Never. Never. I'll be gone. Gone. That's it. I will be gone. Ain't that right, Mello? Mello. I heard him walking around. Let's see. Going down. Let me see. Going down. Look at that. Baby Booty. Yep, Baby Booty convinced me backing up was working. Her computer crashed and she was pennywise, refusing to pay for more storage. Yeah, you really have to back up those files, guys. You really have to back them up. Let's see. Do you talk about how the industry is suffering as well, or so many other people are buying machines that are 15, 20,000? Then they don't know what they're doing and they sell it for a lower price. That is so true, JC Production. That is, and you know what? Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit. When I find that when the pandemic hit, right? A lot of people really were going into these like side hustles, okay? And a lot of times people were saying, hey, I'm going to do embroidery, or I'm going to do direct to fabric, I'm going to do whatever, right? And they started building all these small businesses. Now, one of the things that if you really look at JC Productions comment over here, right? I don't think that the industry is suffering. I think what has happened, this is my opinion, JC, is that I feel that people have purchased these machines, these embroidery machines, because people thought that it was going to be easy gig. Okay. They thought that it wasn't going to be a lot of work. They thought that the learning curve was going to be really easy because, like I keep saying in all the other videos that I said in the past, a lot of people have this perception that when you have an embroidery machine, all you do is stick an item in the hoop, stick it in the machine, and you press a button and you're done. And then what happens is first of all, they don't realize that there is a huge learning curve in knowing how to do good embroidery. And the learning curve is not just learning about the threads, the stabilizers, digitizing, and all that other stuff, right? Let's talk about the machine itself, especially since you mentioned this comment. These machines are not cheap, okay? They are not cheap. And a lot of times it happened where people were buying them and they were buying them with, financing it and stuff like that. And what happens is these machines, they are not hard to work, but there is a learning curve in how to manage these machines as well. Okay. And think about it, it's a machine. You got to learn how to work it. You have to learn all the functions of the machine in order for you to get the best out of it. And at the same time, machines are like cars, okay? They need maintenance, all right? You can't just run a machine to the ground and never have it serviced, all right? Because the machines need to be oiled, they need to be vacuumed, they need to be maintained. And if you don't maintain the machine, yeah, they're going to break down on you. And, people they got frustrated. They spent all this money on the machine, and you are correct. Now you can go on Facebook Marketplace and you can actually find, if you just do a search on machine embroidery, you're going to see machines that are being sold at less than what they pay. This is the other thing too that I learned, which, when I got my first multi needle, I got a 6 needle, right? I got the 6 needle, and then I was thinking I may trade it in, I'll get a 10 needle. One of the things that I found out about embroidery machines is that an embroidery machine is like a car. It loses its value as you use it. Okay. So when people are looking to buy a used embroidery machine, the first thing they do is they ask and they say, hey, what's the stitch count on that? How many hours has that machine run? Now, I'm going to tell you, my machines have run a lot. Okay. So my stitch count is pretty high. Same thing with my SC 1900 back there that you see right there. That has a high count too. But it's because I work these machines. But, and because you're working these machines, you're not going to get what you paid for it because it's considered used. It's like buying a car, right? You pay a certain amount because it's brand new, but once you drive it off the lot, you lose about 20% of the value of the car. And as the more you drive the car, the more the value of that car goes down. So, a lot of people, what happens is they I don't think that to me, the industry is not suffering. Okay. I think what it is that people have went about and purchased machines that thought were easy to use, and they didn't understand the learning curve that was involved. And then once the reality hit that, there's a huge learning curve with this. It's a lot of involvement in learning, not just the machine, but other aspects of embroidery as well. People quickly said, this is not a good side gig for me. Okay. And, once the pandemic, I think, is gone, right? And now, you had more people that were working from home. Now there's kind of less of people that are working from home. Now people are really starting to, some people they work from home and there's a mix, right? They're finding that they no longer have that time available for embroidery, right? So it's like that's another reason why. It's like before they were home all the time, and now it's like that things have settled, and we're going back to that normal life. They're finding that they really don't have any time in their schedule to do embroidery, because embroidery is a lot of work. It is not easy to run these machines and fill orders. Okay. I know, because I work full time and then I come home and I work full time here. So this is a lot of work. Okay. And you're not going to have much time for personal life. My personal life is hanging out with you guys on Friday. Seriously, this is my personal life. Okay. Because I get up in the morning, I'm working. When I get out of work, I have my time with Mello and my machines. That's it. I really don't, you're not going to see me hanging at the clubs. You're not going to see me hanging at the bars, very, very few. Even though, last week I went with my girlfriend and we went to a hotel and hung out at the bar for some drinks and stuff. But that is very, very, very like like once a month or once every month and a half that I get to do something like that, because this is a very time consuming business, and you're going to see those machines out there. So you see a lot of machines out there that people are getting rid of because it's just that wasn't as easy as they thought it was going to be, and now they're getting rid of their machines. Yeah, but yeah. um let's see. um could you also talk about all the machines that are compared to the name brand machines? I cannot, for the simple fact that I've never bought one of those machines, so I wouldn't know how to compare it, because all I know is what I have, which is why, JC, I don't do a comparison of my machine with other industrial machines, other machines that are out there. I'm not familiar with them. All, I mean, I've done some personal research, but my thing is, I invested in what was right for me, and the thing is, it like I said, it's a personal choice. It really truly is a personal choice. um Angela and Stitches said, I received a message from a customer. The postal service claims their order was delivered, but the customer states it wasn't. What will you do? Okay, it depends on how you sent the item to the customer. Usually, when I send the item, I send them a tracking number, and then they have to talk with the post office and provide the tracking number. That's between them and the post office, not you, because I let people know I am not responsible for what the post office does. Okay, if I know that I put that in the mail and you got a tracking number and they say they delivered it, that's between you and them. Usually, if you send them a tracking number, that means that you probably got insurance. And if you got insurance, for that package, then they should submit a claim. Okay, that's how I would handle that. Hey, Beverly, learning the craft is necessary first, and also learning the machine. Absolutely. Yes. 72 hours to see if it's located before replacement. Let's see. Going down. Let's see. I'm going down. Check out all your. Thank you. You work hard. Shows them the care of the products you made. I'm amazed at the products you showed us. Oh, thank you, Beverly. Appreciate it. I love what I do. I really do. Way to watch out for Fred. Aw, thanks. But I actually like Fred. I love being married to Fred. Fred's a cool cat. I'm telling you, he makes me laugh. And it's really funny because a lot of times people, when they tell me marriage is hard, I'm like, it's not that hard for me. I don't know. I feel like I married my buddy, so I actually enjoy my time with him. That's why, but I'm gonna be honest, if I didn't like Fred, I would have said, yeah, go ahead. Take that machine upstairs. That's what I would have said. Go ahead, knock yourself out. And I would have been like, did we pay those premiums on that insurance policy? Let me stop now. But no, I mean, not my Fred. I love that man. I adore him. Let's see. How many needles does your machine have? I have two 10 needle machines and one 6 needle machine. And then I have another machine that's 1 needle. So if you count all together, it's 27 needles, but it's one needle on one machine, 6 needles on another machine, and then I have two machines that are both 10 needles. That's what I have. You are right. My husband is the best, and we have amazing kings. Yes, we do. Yep, I'm telling you, there's a lot of frogs out there. So when you got one that's good, you gotta hold on tight. Let's see. And Angela says she loves her Racoma. Good machine, and their support is good. You know, the Crafty Puerto Rican has that machine. She loves it too. She loves it too. Let's see. Um, let's see. I'm going down. What is the company that stole your money? Let's see. Hey Rita Miller, how you doing? I see Rita there. How are you? Okay, let's see. Everybody's I think I'm all caught up. Aw, Beverly says she's married her best friend too. Only been together 36, going to 37 this month. Me and Fred will make. We actually have 2 anniversary dates. See, what happened was we actually got married December 22nd because the bank made us get married, because what happened was we wanted to buy this house, and the bank came out and said, well, it would really be better if you guys were married when you bought the house. So we went to court and got married December 22nd, 2010. Okay, so so we're going to be married 14 years. So that's like, wow. But I met Fred later in life. I guess when did I get married? I got remarried again. I guess I was 43 or 44 when I married Fred. Yeah, because I met Fred. Carlito was about 12, something like that. 12 years old, something like that. Yeah. So I met Fred later in life and stuff, but he was worth the wait. He was worth the wait. So yeah, but we're going to be 14 years, December 22nd. So when we got married in court, so then what we did was, then when we bought this house, we had this house built, and after it got built on November 11th the following year, I had the lady that married us, civilly. She came back to the house, and then I had my immediate family and Fred's immediate family come, and we didn't exchange vows when we first got married in December 22nd. So in November, the following year, after we had the house built and everything, we exchanged our wedding vows here at this house at the front door, and we had my immediate family and his immediate family at the house to witness the vow exchange, which was like really nice, and it was really sentimental, which is kind of like why sometimes when we talk about moving, I'm like, I really don't want to move, because this is actually the house we got married in. So I kind of like that. So yeah. So what kind of work does Fred do? He's an engineer. AP, how are you? Jeanette, you look like a baby in your winter. You look like Rosie Perez. It's funny. Everybody at my job always says I'm like that. They're like, "Oh, here comes Rosie. Don't get her pissed." They say that all the time. Let's see. Okay, guys. So I am gonna call it the night. Thank you so much for spending Friday with me. As always, I do enjoy this time. So please remember, next Friday, I won't do an embroidery happy hour because I'm going to be at the Sewing and Quilt Show in Fredericksburg, checking out all the stuff. And I'm bringing cash with me because I do want to get like a whole bunch of stuff like, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting like fabric and stuff like that. I'm not coming home with a machine, that is for sure. I told myself I'm not doing that, but I do want to probably look into like buying some nice fabrics and stuff like that, where I can make some stuff, because now I want to try bag making. I actually want to try to sew and all that kind of stuff and everything. Take a break from these machines for a little bit, even though I know I'm not going to be able to, because I get orders for embroidery. So when I get the orders for the embroidery, of course I got to turn them on. So, but I want to make the best out of these sewing machines that I have here at home, and I want to try to sell some items that I can sew too, because I see people do that all the time, create these patches and all that kind of stuff. So I want to have fun and do that kind of stuff too. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending Friday with me. As always, I hope you enjoy it. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And I will talk to you guys later. Okay, so please have a great weekend. Enjoy sewing, enjoy embroidering. Have a great time. And for those that will be in Fredericksburg at the Sewing and Quilt Show, please watch out for the post in the Facebook group. I will take a picture of one of the quilts that they have there. That will probably be our meetup spot. And I'm thinking that we'll probably meet around 5:30, because I do have a class. My embrilliance class ends at 5 o'clock. So I figured after my embrilliance class, I can go ahead and meet you guys at the quilt, and then we can all decide where we're gonna go and have dinner. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great night. Have fun. Enjoy embroidering. Enjoy sewing. And for those that I will see next week, I'll see you guys next week, and I will talk to you guys later. So you have a great night and take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye.